Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today I've got a great list for you guys. I just posted a video on WE knives, the top 5 best WE-built knives. Some of those knives weren't available, and I had some backlash from that. I usually get backlash when I post videos on knives that aren't available. And I know it's never the funnest to know that there's a great knife, but oh, I can't get it. So I stopped for a second. I came up with the list. I went through basically my whole collection, primarily of more the budgety side of knives, because I know a lot of people really enjoy a good budget knife or something that doesn't quite break the bank. I went through what I had, I picked out my favorites, and then I went to Amazon and I saw what is available on Amazon. Of my favorite knives, what can you get on Amazon right now and buy? And I came up with 5 that I think are really, really good. These are actually 5 knives that I love, and it's a great combination. It's knives that there's a small one, there's a couple medium-sized ones, there's a couple larger knives. They're great knives, and I think you guys are going to love them. They're knives that I highly recommend. So I thought I'd make the list. Top 5 best knives currently available on Amazon as of today, 7/9/2021. So that is going to be something. These are all going to be linked in this video. You guys can hop right on, pick one up for yourself. Going to have different models linked. Sometimes if you just go to one link, it'll have a drop down. You can select the model. We'll cover over all that. We're going to go over these knives. I really hope you guys enjoy this because these are 5 knives that I personally really, really like. You've seen, I think, all of them on this channel before. We're going to start off with number 5, and that is the QSP Penguin. Now, I will say, this Penguin was intended to be the QSP Hawk. The QSP Hawk is not available on Amazon, so I went to my second favorite, which is the Hawk, or the Penguin. The Penguin has, it's been around for a year now. It is, when it first came out, it was a little cheaper. Right now, you can find these on Amazon for, there's 8 model options for this guy. 8 model options. 6 of them are coming in at $32.66, and there's 2 other ones coming in at $49.50. And I believe those 2 have one has a brass set of scales, and the other one has a copper set of scales. So that's kind of why those are a little more. The other 6 have stuff like micarta G10. I'm sure this denim option is probably one of them, which this is my favorite. The denim option is absolutely fantastic. It's great denim micarta that has really taken in the oils well over time and just look fantastic. The other thing that you just can't beat with this blade is just the action on washers. I mean, we are on washers here, and the action is just so good. So good. Washers make the knife even more durable. You don't have to worry about a whole lot getting in there and messing with the action as you would sometimes on a knife with bearings. Not necessarily the end of the world. It doesn't make or break anything for me, but people do like to know that, and it is fantastic action on washers. And this knife overall is just an excellent EDC option. It's got that D2 steel. There's a lot of pros and cons to D2. You don't see quite so much of it anymore, so I think the burnout for some people is kind of gone, so maybe it doesn't hurt that much to see it. Still not my favorite, but it does hold a good edge. You just want to be careful. D2 can corrode. The corrosion resistance isn't the best, but you can't argue it has great edge retention, and it is a good working steel. And this is also just a fantastic design. It really is. I love this sheep's footy Wharncliffe blade. Love doing that middle finger flick. Just deploying and fidgeting with this knife in general. It doesn't look like it would be a real fidget-friendly knife, but it's pretty darn good. It really is. It's a great option. A lot of people have already had this knife and love it, so I'm sure this isn't going to be new to everyone, but it's such a solid option. I had to have it on this list, especially with so many options. That is the QSP Penguin coming in at number 5. Now next, coming up at number 4, is a knife that I have called multiple times one of, if not the best 5th pocket knife you can ever get that is available on the market, and that is none other than the CJRB Myleah. Now you can pick up the Myleah off Amazon for $35.99. And what you get with this knife, 2 things that really stand out to me. One, it's a little fidget beast. An absolute fidget beast. You can middle finger flick it. You can front flip it. You can thumb flick it. And you know it's coming. you can give it the reach around. It is just a fantastic little knife. For a 2.5, 3 finger knife, the ergos really aren't bad. It's a comfortable 2.5, 3 finger grip. I'll give you that. It just feels good. The jimping back here is good. The edge is good. And another thing that really stands out with this knife that I really like is you get that AR RPM9 steel that CJRB has come out with that seems to be getting pretty decent reviews. They wanted to get a steel that had edge retention along the lines of D2. Now, I don't know if it's quite as good as D2, but what it does have that D2 doesn't have is much better corrosion resistance. So it's kind of like a cross between N690 and D2, or VG10 D2, kind of the same thing, you know. But better edge retention, better corrosion resistance, and so far it's doing that. I have not heard a lot of complaints about this steel whatsoever. I've heard actually just some pretty good things. Stasa23 did a steel test on it, and his test seemed to be pretty decent. I mean, it was no kind of showstopper or jaw dropper, but it was pretty good results. So you just have a lot of good things going here. And on top of all that, it's just a pretty unique, clever little design that is just so fun to fidget with, and is still easily one of my favorite fifth pocket knives available. I carry this all the time. You put it in your fifth pocket and you kind of forget it's there, but it's so nice to have a fun little knife to fidget with if you're sitting around bored, or of course, especially if you need a knife, duh. But it's just a great knife. I think so many people have experienced this one already, but there's still a lot of people that haven't. I still don't think this knife quite gets the respect it deserves, because it's just a great little knife. If you don't like small knives, you probably won't care for this, but if you like little knives, if you like fidgety knives, if you like this design, you absolutely have to try it. It's a knife that I love, and I will definitely be keeping this around for probably ever, because it's one of those knives to where it's almost not even worth it to sell it, because you can get, you know, 25, 30 bucks if you sell it. You know, it's only $36 brand new, $35.99. So it's just a great one to keep around the collection. And I don't know if I've met maybe 1 or 2 people that got it and didn't like it. It is liked by vast majority of those who give it a shot, and I think you would too. The CJRB Myleah coming in at number 4. Now, number three, we're going to start with our CIVIVIs, and this one is the CIVIVI Imperium, and you have 2 options. Actually, you have more than 2 options, but I guess 2 styles. You have the G10 option coming in at $68, and you have the little more fancier version coming in at $89.25. Now, the $68 version, first of all, both of these blades are Nitro V steel, which is a very impressive steel. It's a real attractive steel that's coming out. You're seeing a little more on knives. It's got good corrosion resistance, good edge retention, very solid steel all around. The $68 version has G10, which is textured, and I've got to say, the texturing on this G10 is nothing special, but it gives you that little extra bit of grip. Now, the version on the $89.25 is a resin with carbon fiber shred, and you have options of silver, brass, or copper shreds added into that. I got the silver shred, and I think it looks great. I mean, I really do like this. This is, in my opinion, this is a good gentleman's knife. Some people may think it's too long or too big. That's personal opinion. I think it's a really nice gentleman's knife. I think it looks great, and the action on these things are killer. This is another one. When this came out earlier this year, actually just a couple months ago, if I remember right, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I thought it was going to be an absolute like showstopper. I thought it was going to be one of the hardest knives to get, and they're readily available on Amazon, and in just about all the options. They may be out of one of them, but the links will be down there for them. Check them out. I think this knife is grossly underrated so far. It has not gotten the attention or appreciation that I think it deserves. It's a fantastic front flipping action. You can middle finger flick it just fine. It feels so good. It's got that good crisp CIVIVI action. Thumb studs, front flip, middle finger flip. It's got it all. It's got a very elegant design to it. Ergos are really good. The pocket clip works as good as any CIVIVI pocket clip does. I don't really have any knock on it. It really is just a great knife. You know, I don't want to say premium materials for a budget knife or for a CIVIVI, but that Nitro V it's just, you know, it adds a little bit of extra wow to it. You know, you want to check it out because there's not a lot of knives if any knives in this price range that has nitro V steel. So a pretty cool thing to check out there. And you also, this JG10 always gives you the good options to RIT dye, so you can make that any color you want. And then this, if you want that extra little bump up in class and flare, you really can't go wrong with this either. I will say I do like the texturing on the G10 a little more, but then these are also contoured, so they're a little rounded as to where the G10 is flat. So pick your poison there. Regardless, I really don't think you can go wrong. If you're still a little on the fence with it, then go with the $68 version. And I have a feeling this will be a pretty easy knife to resell, because these things are going to pick up in popularity and they're going to start flying off the shelves. I don't know why they aren't yet. They're still being talked about, but not enough. They're just a great knife. Definitely one of the best knives CIVIVI has come out in quite a while, in my opinion. They've had a lot of great models this year. This is one of them, coming in at number 3, the CIVIVI Imperium. Now, as we were talking about CIVIVI, I got one more here. And this one, I've got to say, I think it's even maybe a little better than the Imperium. It's the CIVIVI Brazen drop point. Now, the reason I say the drop point, I'm specifying the drop point because there's a Tanto version that is D2 steel. This drop point version is 14C28N. It's on here somewhere. I just have to find it. It's kind of hard to find. Anyway, it's 14C28N steel. Just a excellent working blade. This guy here is $49.80, and I'm gonna say it now. It's gonna take a little suspense away from my Knife of the Year awards at the end of the year, at least for this price category. But this is the best knife I have ever handled under $50. Ever. I just love it. I love the blade shape. I love the ergos, the feel in hand, the size of it. It's, you know, it's not the flashiest knife in the world, but it's just the best one I've ever handled for under $50. And I've got to say it. I absolutely love this knife. I like this knife so much. It was the knife I gifted to all the groomsmen in my wedding. Now, don't knock me for being a cheap sucker on my wedding, because weddings are expensive and I already had a bunch of other money for all sorts of other things, so had to take a little off the cost of the knives, but it's still a knife I like that much. I gifted it to my groomsmen, so they had something in their pocket for the special day. It's just a fantastic knife. I mean, I don't even know if I need to keep talking about it, but it's got that awesome CIVIVI action. You can middle finger flip it. You can thumb flip it. You can just do the regular flipper on it. You can't go wrong. And the only thing that really separates this Brazen, in my opinion, from the Imperium is just you got a little more of a cutting edge as well as a wider blade. So that's going to make for a more durable blade. And, you know, when you're talking real EDC use, where you start to use the knives pretty hard and, you know, you tend to beat on a little, this would be a little better for that just because of the blade width. The thickness, I believe, is the same, but that extra width adds a lot of strength. Has a very nice edge on it. Very nice cutter and slicer as well. Just an excellent blade, a fun one to fidget with. Again, it's the year of CIVIVI. It really is the year of CIVIVI when it comes to knives under $100. And I will say it one more time, this is the best, in my opinion, the best knife you can get under $50. And it is available on Amazon right now. Coming in at number 2, the CIVIVI Brazen Drop Point. Now, number one is a little more expensive. It's not a $50 knife, but it's not a super crazy expensive knife. Number 1 right now for me is the Kizer Delorme, coming in at $119. And I was surprised to see this available on Amazon already, and it's available in both colorways. There's a version just like this, which has 20 CV steel, your stonewash blade, your black G10 with some gray highlights. And then there's another version with a black wash blade, which is pretty sweet. And then it has an OD green handle with black instead of the gray. So really, really cool color combos. Even the green and black I thought was pretty sweet. And I actually had to think about it before I got this one, but I just love my black and gray. It's a really good one. One of the most unique knives you'll see this year, in my opinion. Definitely some of the best buttery fall shut action for a knife at $119. And to be totally honest, as good as just about any production knife you'll see this year. The action is just killer. If you guys like front or top flippers, you really have to give this a shot. I can't believe my review of this, I think, was the first review. I could be very wrong there, but it was the first one that I've seen anyway, and I can't believe it because it is a killer design from Justin Lundquist. Everything about it is unique, from the name, the Delorme, to the awesome design, to the closed profile of it. It's just as beautiful of a looker as it is a worker and user. A fantastic knife, and you're not going to come across many knives that have 20 CV for 119 bucks. Very, very few. Just one more reason. This is definitely one you have to try. I can fidget with this thing all day, and it's so, I mean, watch how smooth the blade falls closed. It's perfect, and there's no blade play. As light as that closed the first time I saw it do that, I thought for sure there was going to be blade play or some issue with it. I had to tighten the pivot, something. No, it's perfect. Just as is. It's just a killer buttery drop shot action. Could not ask for a better action. The detent is perfect on this knife. Love the pocket clip. It's nothing crazy, but again, this knife isn't anything crazy. It perfectly fits the look of this knife. I couldn't be more happy with the design of this, and I was so stoked to pick one up. I'm still surprised that these are available in so many places. It's available on Amazon. It's available at other places. This one here is the Kizer Delorme. It's #1. These are the 5 best knives you can get on Amazon right now. I'll stick them back up here for you. Take one more good look. Let me know what you guys think. If you were to pick one of these knives off of the list, which one would it be? Because, I mean, there's no wrong answers. There's absolutely no wrong answers, but they're just some great knives. And I gotta say, taking into consideration the price of these and the quality you get from them, excellent options. These will all be listed in the video below. Pick one up for yourself, but let me know, which one are you eyeing? Which one do you think is the best? Hell, which two do you think are the best? I'm excited to know. Great year for knives. Excellent year for knives in the $100 and below range. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed this one, and until the next one, I'm out.